Hey everyone, how's it going? Five Finger Shuffle back here, and we are back with another video. Today what I want to do is we're finally going to do a new video of the Best Of series. So today we're going to touch on the Sion. The Sions was the most requested of the remaining 4-star units. So what we do in this series is we run through all 5 of the elements, we go over all their skills, then we pick the best one and show you some gameplay. Here you can see we're doing Drake level 10. At the beginning of the game, when the game was first launched, a lot of people were looking at the Nature Sion and trying to build him for Drake. But then everyone kind of just forgot about him because he didn't seem that great for Drake, and nobody really built him from there. So I went on and 6-starred him, and as you can see here, we managed to pre-flight the boss with him, and he really isn't on very good gear right now. So the team we were running is pretty standard. You do need the Nature Pirate, which is just released. So there's the team. We got the Nature Pirate, the Basilisk. You can run the water one there instead if you want to, along with Manaz, the Nature Snake Lady, and the Sion. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run through all these units, and then we're gonna go back and we're gonna look at those. First up is the Fire Sion, Dr. Axon. So his first skill, Palm Blast, which is the same for all of them, damages target enemy with a chance to mark, which obviously is really nice. If you don't already know, mark increases the damage. And each time he uses another skill, he becomes empowered. When empowered, the Psycho Drones will assist him the next time he attacks, shooting nearby enemies at random. Bonus damage based on accuracy. So you do want accuracy to land the mark, and then if you do land the mark, and when he becomes empowered, he'll do extra damage, plus the extra damage from the accuracy. Second skill, Radiation Ray, sends a Psycho Drone to a specified location. The drone spins, carving out a circle in the ground with a laser beam, damages enemies, and this ignores shields. So if you're going up against a shield-heavy team, maybe this could be really helpful. Repelling Barrier sends out 2 Psycho Drones to project a wall of pure Psycho energy. The wall moves forward, damaging and pushing any enemies along its path. So this is pretty common skill for the Sions, the pushback, which is really nice. I like that wall. Basically what happens is if the units run into it, they get pushed back, but that only works once, and then you can go through it the second time. And then the final skill is Psycho Drone Swarm, sends out a swarm of Psycho Drones that randomly shoot nearby enemies for several seconds. Each shot deals more damage and inflicts mortal wounds. This debuff can only affect each enemy once. So if you watched my last video where I got stuck on the Blitz stage 50 on Legend difficulty, the mortal wounds is a super important debuff in a lot of aspects of the game. So maybe he could be good for that as well. He's definitely not my favorite. I just don't think he has a lot of uses yet, but maybe when the new content comes out, he'll be good there. The next one is Dr. Dendrite, the water one. He is a unit that you get when you first start the game. They give him to you for free on the 7th day of playing. So Palm Blast is the same with the mark. The second skill though is Psycho Pulse, unleashes a wave of psycho energy, dealing damage and pushing back enemies in a cone. Deals damage to each affected enemy for each buff or debuff on it. So that's very unique. A lot of I don't think there's any other units in the game that do extra damage based on buffs and debuffs. Repulsion Field. This is the one where it sends out the drones with the pushback again with the wall. So that's 2 back-to-back skills with a pushback, which if you're facing teams like maybe a Blade Master, this pushback could be really strong. And then Psycho Drone Blitz sends out a swarm of Psycho Drones that randomly shoot nearby enemies for several seconds. Each shot deals damage and lowers attack. This debuff can only affect each enemy once. So basically the same skill as the fire one, except it lowers attack instead of mortal wounds. So depending on what you're using it for, that would also be very helpful. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I know Jubagel put out a video about this guy and how big of damage he can do. So as much as I'm not a big fan of his, he did kind of sorry, I'm not a big fan of the Sions, not Jubiggle. That came out really wrong. As I'm not a big fan of Dr. Dendrite, he does do big damage if he's put on a damage build, so that does apply for all the units across the board. I've actually tested it, so they all do really big damage if they're ruined on or geared on a damage build. So we'll keep that in mind as we move forward. I'm gonna skip Dr. Synapse and we're gonna come back to him because we did see the gameplay of him already. So let's go to Dr. Myelin. Palm Blast is the same. Wave of Terror, though, unleashes a wave of psycho energy, dealing damage and pushing back enemies in a cone, removes one buff from each affected ally, or each affected enemy, and inflicts fear if a buff was removed. So the strip is really nice, and that fear debuff can be really nice, so maybe that could be good in like an arena offense if you're going up against either a team with immunity or a team with invulnerability. Repulsion Field sends out 2 Psychodrones with the wall again, knocking them back. We already know this skill. Again, the pushback can be really nice. And then the Psychodrone Swarm is the one where the Psychodrones do the mortal wounds, so the same as the fire one. So for this one, I think he's obviously he's very similar to the other ones. I really like that fear debuff. I feel like it's really strong with the strip. But otherwise, I don't want to say underwhelming because I think he's quite good and could do big energy, so you could use him on arena offense. So, I mean, it depends kind of what you're using him for, but if you're using him on arena offense, I feel like that would be helpful. I just don't know if he's useful anywhere else just yet. Maybe in Guild Wars once that comes out. Now, let's move on to this one, the nature one, and that's the one that I've built and the one we're going to show some gameplay of today. The first skill is the same, the mark. The second skill has the strip, but it has ongoing damage. This is why people stopped building him for Drake, because in order to put the ongoing damage, he needs the strip, but the Drake boss doesn't need anything to be stripped, really, so he never did ongoing damage. So that's kind of why people stopped building him. But because he does such big damage, that's why he was able to pre-flight the boss. And I will show you his gear after we go through the dark one as well. And then Repulsion Field, we already talked about this one with the pushback. And Barrage sends out a swarm of Psychodrones that randomly shoot nearby enemies for several seconds. Each shot deals damage and disorients. This debuff can only affect enemies once. So that disorient debuff can be really strong, and you combine it with the pushback, and it can really disable your enemies. I've used him a little bit on arena offense, just kind of testing him out. Like I said, he has terrible gear right now, so I can't use him too much in high level arena just yet. But I do think he's really strong, especially with the mark. You can combine him with other units. Sorry about that, my phone's going off. I forgot to silence it. We can combine him with other units and maybe make a really strong pairing. And I was really surprised at how much damage he did. Actually, yesterday on stream, we put one of our better damage dealing sets on him, and he did like massive damage when we put him into Drake. I'm not going to change his gear around now. I'm just going to show you what gear he had when we did that that quick pre-flight Drake clear. And you guys already saw the damage. He did like 450k damage pre-flight, which is really strong. So finally, let's move on to the last one, and I think the best one in the family, Dr. Stoma. So Dr. Stoma has the same first skill with the mark, and then the second skill is the same as the nature one as well. Oh, sorry, it's slightly different. Sends out a Psychodrone to a specified location. The drone spins, carving out a circle on the ground with a laser beam, damages enemies, and inflicts ongoing damage. So still, this one does the ongoing damage, but it doesn't strip, so it's slightly different. Then Repelling Barrier is the same. It's pushing back the enemies. But the thing I really like about him is Pandemonium. Sends out a swarm of Psychodrones that randomly shoot nearby enemies for several seconds. Each shot deals damage and lowers defense. So that AoE defense break is really strong. I would really like to pull this guy. He's probably in my top 3 in terms of light darks that I would like to pull. Just because of that defense break on his ultimate skill. And we already know he does huge damage, so if you have him, I would consider building him. I tried to find somebody that had him built so that I could showcase him, but unfortunately I couldn't find anyone that had Dr. Stoma built. So that's why we're doing the gameplay of the nature one. They're all very similar though. In terms of ranking them, I would say Dr. Stoma is probably the best one. And then probably these two, the nature one and the light one, are probably tied. And then the water and the fire ones are probably next. I would actually put the water one in front of the fire one. I think right now the fire one has the least amount of uses. But remember, they all do really big damage. The funny thing is that the fire one and the dark one are both classified as marksman. So I've never tested the fire one's damage, but it's possible that he even does more damage than the nature one here. So let's go back and take a look at his gear really quick. Alright, so here's his gear. As you can see, it is not strong at all. All my other units have plus 15 gear on the 3 primary slots, but he has a plus 12 shoulder piece with attack, a plus 9 crit damage glove, and a plus 12 5-star keen bracer. And then the headpiece is plus 12, but the pendant and the chest are only plus 9. So he has so much room for improvement already, and we're already pre-flighting the boss. If we get all of these maxed out, the damage he's going to output is going to be much, much, much greater. He does have quite a few skill ups already. His first skill needs 2 more, his second skill needs 3 more, his third skill only needs 1 more, and his ultimate with the disorient is maxed, which is really nice. I am going to try and max him, but it's going to take some time, so just because he takes so many skill ups. But I really do like the damage he does. So you already saw him in probably the best dungeon, but what I'm going to do is we're going to run him in the Bull Demon King just to sort of show what kind of damage he can do. So we're going to put him in place of Sigrun, and we don't really need you in there either, so maybe we'll put the Ink Ninja in there just for fun, and this will kind of give us an idea of what sort of damage he can do. The Ink Ninja, I can't show you his gear here, but his attack, crit damage, attack are all maxed, plus 15, and the Malika also, the attack, crit damage, attack are also all maxed. So with them maxed and Dr. Dendrite being plus 9 and plus 12 gear, it'll be interesting to see the comparison between the total damage. So we're going to do this, and then we'll go back and I will show you, I think I only have 1 PvP energy, but we'll show you an arena fight with him in it as well. The nice thing about him is he does do range damage, so he does stay back of your tank if you're running a tank. We should be able to clear these waves really fast, partially because of the Blade Master, and then because we're running 2 other range damage dealers as well, with a defense break and an attack buff and manas. So this team should be pretty fast. It doesn't have any of the like crazy ongoing damage champions that are out there, so that's the one thing that might hurt us a little bit on the boss, but hopefully with the raw damage we can just carve right through him really fast. So we got the defense break, we got the mark, and they've decided to stop attacking. Alright, that was maybe a bad example because they basically just stopped moving there for a few seconds and we lost all of our buffs. But now you can see that the bosses that were attacking the boss, we just carved right through them. So we still got a 1-minute run even despite that. Really though, all that matters is showing you the damage report. So let's take a look at this damage. The Blade Master, which is typically really, really strong, everybody knows how strong the Blade Masters are, is on really strong gear and did 330k damage. And the Ink Ninja did 223k damage. And the Sion fell right in between those two Nat 5s. So if you're looking for a damage dealer, keep in mind that with his stuff not maxed, if it was maxed, he probably would have outdamaged the Blade Master. When we did the run last night in Drake, he did the same amount of damage as the Blade Master in Elder Drake. So let's go out and take a look at him in an arena fight, and then we'll wrap up the video. I would really love to get that Dark One. I think he's super cool and really strong. Oh, we actually have 2 PvP energies, so let's see who's on our revenge list here. Not much. Let's see with this one. Alright, we can try him here. So let's take out the Astromancer, who I do still use, by the way. I think the Astromancer is still crazy strong. If you haven't seen that video, check that one out as well. And let's just jump right into this. So they have no immunity and also no invulnerability. So we don't really need the strip, but we're just going to run the Greater Demon there because he's a great tank in this situation. I have the Nature one, which I would probably put the Nature one in this situation, but he's only 5-starred, so that's why I haven't done that yet. We're going to focus her first. And relatively easily, we carved through the whole right side of the defense, and now it's just a matter of finishing it off. So this one took a little longer, just because we didn't, there we go. We didn't get that, the pull on the Violet, but we still finished it off in 15 seconds, relatively quick. And these are pretty high-level defenses that we're fighting. And we're doing it with sub-maximal gear, and we're still making it look easy. So we gained 10 points off of him. He's pretty much was the same level as us, because we were at 1599, and he would have been at 1594. So we were only a few points ahead of him. But looking at this damage, he did basically the same damage as my Candy Munchkin, and she's on, again, maxed gear, and he's like only half maxed. So it kind of gives you an idea of how you would want to use him. The nice thing in Arena especially is because A, he's a ranged damage dealer, and B, with the pushback, he keeps other units away from you, so they really don't have a chance to do too much damage. I'm really looking forward to maxing his gear out. But if you need a damage dealer, honestly, any of them are going to be really strong. I think the Dark One is a step above the others. But any of the other 4, if you don't have the Dark One, you can make a case for building them and using them in your arena offense. I'll probably use him over Sigrun, to be honest with you. I feel like Sigrun's a little inconsistent, and I already have a defense break on the team, so having him in there just kind of seems to make things a little safer and a little more consistent. So I hope this video helped you guys out. We are streaming today. We're doing our really big Saturday stream today. I'm hoping to have some giveaways in stream today, so if you can come join us, that would be amazing. We're at 199 subscribers here on YouTube, which means we only need one more to hit 200. And also, we're getting pretty close to 200 follows on Twitch as well. So the goal is to hit both of those today during stream. Hopefully the giveaways come through. I'm just waiting to hear back from Gameloft in terms of what I'm allowed to do in terms of giveaways. It's not sponsored by Gameloft or anything like that, but I'm hoping that they're okay with it and give us the go-ahead. And just in case we don't hear back from them, we will still be doing, what do you call it, gift subs for free on stream today as well. So if you're interested in that, drop on by. We will be starting in probably about an hour or two, maybe an hour and a half, and we'll be running all night because it's going to be a long stream. Stop in and say hi if you want. If you liked the video and it helped you out, don't forget to like and share with your friends, and also subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. And I hope you all have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.